Welcome to the Efficientpreneur Show with Ahmed Al-Karemli, where you learn how to build and scale your business profitability online with less time, effort, and cost, so you can enjoy a fulfilling lifestyle.
Hi everyone, AK here, and welcome to the Efficientpreneur Show. Today I have with me Hamid Farhadian. He's an SEO and WordPress expert, and he's the founder of SEO Effect. Welcome to the show, Hamid.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be with you here.
My pleasure. So what's your story? If you take us, like, I know we've been friends for a long time. We worked a little bit on WordPress. So take us through the journey of WordPress. How did you get into WordPress? And then we go into SEO and the other stuff like with startups.
All right. So I could say my entrepreneurial journey started very early when I was 13 years old. That was like 1999. And then I was young. I didn't know the internet. No one knew the internet. And then my brother gave me a laptop and AOL CD. And I heard this sound of the and then the modem, you know, I don't know if you remember the good old days with the 56K modem, and you had to wait 5 minutes. So I discovered the internet. There was no WordPress, but there was the internet, and I was fascinated. I registered my first domains when I was 14, so it was around 1999. It was the first time I registered some domains. I started with hamid.de, which is my name, and a couple of more. And step by step, I created websites. I used front page back then. And by time, I think it was around 2006, I bought a project from someone on eBay, a website basically. And that was based on WordPress. Since then, 2006, I've tried many other frameworks, content management systems, but I worked, I would say 99% of my time on WordPress. Well, the point wasn't to work on WordPress. The point was to create websites and make money online. That was the whole idea. But obviously, along the way, I had to learn many different strategies, plugins, frameworks, tools, methods, of achieving what I wanted. So from 2006 till 2011, I was mainly working. I was studying, and at the same time, I was an entrepreneur. I created websites. I created, mainly content websites, and I realized that the #1 way to get traffic was SEO. Google loved my website for whatever reason, and that turned out to be a main traffic driver. So while I was studying, I studied business economics in London. While I was studying, I was actually making around 15,000 to 20,000 euro every month just through organic traffic, AdSense, selling digital products and stuff like that. So it was a good time. But then things crashed.
Which year?
It was around 2012. 2012, I hired some Indian SEO guys, and they messed up with spammy backlinks, copying content, duplicate content, all that stuff. So my site went from almost 20,000 visitors every day to 500, a big drop. I started learning and reading everything about SEO. Like, how can I get these sites up again? How can I get organic traffic up? And since then, because I was so involved in SEO, companies started to talk with me. I promoted myself as an SEO guy. I wrote a blog post actually in 2014 that was a really, really good traffic driver. So when you Google right now SEO expert or SEO freelancer or SEO agency or SEO specialist in Germany, there's a good chance that I'll be in the top 3 at any given time. And through that, obviously, I receive a lot of inquiries from companies, from stores, from traders, from service providers, and that brought me to today.
Why you decided to open like a startup studio and then come back to focus on SEO? This episode is brought to you by the Efficientpreneur Club. The Efficientpreneur Club is a private and affordable one-on-one business coaching club for business owners and entrepreneurs who want to build and scale their business profitability and performance with less time, effort, and cost, and without risking their freedom. So whether you are still figuring out the right business model, strategy and pricing, or you need help to improve your funnels, ads, sales and conversion, then the Efficientpreneur Club is for you. Your business challenges are not going to fix themselves unless you fix them today. And the consequences of not addressing that today is your business profitability and performance will not improve, and your relationships and health will continue to be affected. It's no wonder that building and scaling a business becomes so stressful over time, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Efficientpreneur Club will help you take your business to the next level with a private and affordable one-on-one coaching with me personally, tailored to your unique needs. I will help you clarify your direction, set a strategic action plan, and guide you step by step to build and scale your business efficiently. The Efficientpreneur Club will also provide access to an extensive how-to video library, the most highly recommended tools, and a supportive community of like-minded business owners to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice. The Efficientpreneur Club is the perfect place to be if you want to maximize your profits, minimize your workload, and scale your freedom and efficiency. So check it out at efficientpreneurclub.com and say bye-bye to generic courses, secretive gurus, and expensive mentors.
The reason was I was very, and I am still very passionate about launching new ideas, creating new products, and I always wanted to have a framework or a system where other people can join me, can use me, create new products, create new services, create new platforms, and I still make money through them. But that was just theory. So what happened is I launched a startup studio as a startup agency, basically, in 2016, 2017. And what happened is that almost 80% of all startups that came to me wanted SEO at the end of the day. So it had nothing to do with startup. It was just SEO. And then everyone's like, wait, why is your name Startup Studio, but all you do is SEO, on page, off page, content creation? Why is that? So at the start of this year, I decided, you know what, the brand Startup Studio still exists, but yeah, we're gonna focus mainly and just on SEO and make it clear that this is an SEO agency. So long story short, there's a big rebrand taking place right now as we speak. We launched our new website, seoeffect.de, which is a German company, and so we write it with a K. And I'm very, very focused about, just, at least to the outside world, just presenting it as we are just doing SEO. Now, if someone comes and has a great idea and wants advice, I'll share it. Or if someone wants financing or is looking for investors or wants to get help with pitches, of course I try my best and I help, and I occasionally or very often nowadays I say, if you want to create a new company, you should be aware about your keywords first, because that will give you an idea of what you're going for and where there is opportunity.
And do you still do WordPress? Like the way we met at a startup event, I think it was in Dubai. And then we started talking, and actually no one knows that, but like I would love to share this with people, that Hamid is actually built the first version of Be Efficient TV when it was called Be Efficient TV. Now we rebranded the name to Efficientpreneur. And he built the first version of the site, and I was fascinated by the way he works in terms of WordPress, really fast, really professional. So do you still do WordPress with the SEO, which is like they are together, or like you just focus on SEO?
It's as you say, it's very much interconnected with each other. I think that I try, and I'm in the process of becoming a business owner instead of me being the actual person doing the work. But man, sometimes I just love to play with it. But the thing is, what happens is I try to charge a really high hourly rate, so I can justify to myself that okay, I'm freelancing or I'm working on an hourly rate, but at least it's a high hourly rate. But I'm actually getting coached. And I think you also know him, Arman Sadeghi. I think he was also in your show. long story. So we are in the process of, turning my business more into a real business instead of me doing all the work. Though I still have, 6 employees here sitting with me, but it's still a struggle. It's still every time, I want to jump in and work on the sites and do all the stuff, but I have to step back and say, no, we have our system, we have our processes, you guys take care of it.
You still based in Germany?
Yes.
Germany. Okay, so let's dive into why WordPress.
Why WordPress? Number one reason is the flexibility of WordPress. I think there is no other framework that you can create so fast, so easy, really, with no coding skills, a complete website within an hour, probably. If you're really, like nowadays, I create landing pages, I create sales funnels, I create payment forms, I create membership sites, really in 2-3 hours max. And then obviously I have other people who come and join for the graphics and for the content and for all the other stuff. But setting up things on WordPress is so easy. I believe in the open source aspect or thought, like I enjoy sharing. I like people who brings resources and create something new with it. So every startup founder that I met, and I told them, hey, look, if you want to create this, go ahead. Here's a theme. Here are the 4 or 5 plugins you should try, and then now create a prototype of your idea. A lot of them saved really hundreds and thousands of euros or dollars because then they figured out, oh wait, this doesn't make sense. We have to go into a different direction, or people use our system in a completely different way. So WordPress really gives you this flexibility of testing new ideas really, really fast. And I need speed. In everything I do, I need to work fast.
Why not the ready platforms? Like, why not using, let's say, Wix or other platforms?
Wix, for example, is very, very limited. So the problem is, and it's not just Wix. I've worked with Wix, or I've worked with many systems from German companies, Jimdo. But the problem is that whenever you create a website, it's taking place within a very specific area that you can work in. And you can't just jump around and say, look, I want to integrate an external API, get the data, work with it, and then output it on the front end, for example. So everything that's advanced, a homepage builder like Wix won't allow you to do it. Yes, it allows you custom HTML, custom CSS, I know that, but still you can't really go into coding. Yeah. And
do you still, like, even you mentioned funnels, like example, you don't use ready softwares for funnels like Leadpages or ClickFunnels or others? You still do it with WordPress?
Depends on what the customer wants and what I need. I use Instapage a lot these days. Instapage is really great for building quick and easy landing pages, and it works really well. It's a little bit expensive, but it works well. I've tried Unbounce. I didn't really like it. It's too mechanical. I love ClickFunnels. If you really want to build a funnel where the user buys now, upsell, another upsell, and buy now, that's great. But if you want something more advanced, I would still use WordPress again.
But it's not about, it's how easy you shape those funnels and landing pages. Like with WordPress, it's a bit of a hassle and it might break down.
Yes, that's one thing. If you don't know what you're doing in WordPress, there's a very good chance things will break.
Sorry to cut you off. Do you know what I'm doing recently? I still, use WordPress on my sites. But so I download WordPress, I install the website as a WordPress site, and then I use Leadpages for landing pages. Then I shift some of the pages of the websites to be linked with Leadpages. So I keep, let's say, the blog side of the website as a WordPress, but let's say the home page it's coming from Leadpages. What do you think about that in general? Is it right, wrong?
No, it's just right. And by the way, there is no wrong or right way. There is what gets the job done. And I'm not here to say, look, everyone should use WordPress. No. In fact, there's a lot of situations, like if you want to run an online shop that is multi-language ready, then I wouldn't go with WordPress. It's going to be too slow and there's going to be a lot of problems. But
Shopify.
for example, Shopify is a better system if you want, so if you really want to easily sell stuff. But it really comes down to what you need and what is getting you to the goal that you have. And this is a big learning for a lot of startups, by the way. It's not about who has the best technology or who has the easiest way of doing things. It's really about, will this get the results that I need or not? And if you use, and I know your strategy, you use content for blog marketing or content marketing, people come to your site, and then from there you send them maybe to another landing page or a squeeze page. You get their email addresses, then you send. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. And by the way, the user doesn't care about WordPress or Shopify or whatever. The user wants to get what he wants. And everything we do is there to get is to make the world of the user easier and better. So the user doesn't care about
for
WordPress.
the entrepreneur, like online entrepreneur or entrepreneur side, I advise them to do it this way because it's just faster. Because once they get into WordPress and the details, they get into the details of the plugin, and it takes them so much longer time. So with these ready softwares, they don't need to reinvent the wheel. Like you have already the backup of the WordPress if you need customization in the future. So you are not limited, and you use those, quick pages, home or about or whatever, from the ready software that you can just play with it, drag and drop without code.
Pick the best. But let me say one thing: pick the best out of the systems that are available. And I totally agree. I mean, WordPress is not the everything in one solution. And if there's an entrepreneur, I highly recommend, don't do everything yourself. Get the experts. I see how much value and how much faster people are if they say, look, I don't want to become a WordPress expert or SEO expert. I'll just hire you, pay your hourly rate, your high hourly rate, and then I will be the one benefiting from this because I just saved 6 years of my life spending, 18 hours a day learning about SEO.
What's the first step to build a WordPress site? Like, is it planning the keywords, or like just thinking about the site in general?
When I started, I would say just install WordPress and then get working. Now I would say define the end goal. What is the purpose of the website? What is success as a website looking like? What is the conversion? Let's start with that. What do we want the website to do at the end of the day? Once we have that, we can break it down and say, okay, so this is going to be a marketing website. All right, so what is it going to market? Okay, it's this and this product. All right, so how would people actually find this product? And there's a lot of different strategies in terms of SEO. Like there's needs that people would go. So if I need an SEO expert, I'll just type in SEO expert in Google. Maybe there's a problem, like I'm not ranking well, so I would just go and Google how to rank well in Google. There's many different informational keywords. There's transactional keywords. There's many ways how people would find a solution, and I would go with that. So define the end goal. At the end, define the keywords, and then you can go and we say design follows function. Then you can go with, okay, what are our colors? What is the brand looking like? Which themes should we use? How is the informational structure of the website? Once you do that, then, and by the way, I highly recommend that you have a concept paper with all these questions answered up front, and then you find a WordPress developer or any kind of developer.
For themes, you recommend anything specific, or you just people buy from Evanto, or like specific, like I hear about some different companies, or you just like to build it customized?
Nowadays, I really like to work with custom themes that we create from scratch. So we use Bootstrap, and then we create it from scratch. Back then, obviously, a big theme forest buyer. I had like, I don't know, if you go on my theme forest account, there's like 120 pages that you can scroll. I bought a lot. But the thing is, my favorite theme on theme first, maybe that's what you're looking for, is Uncode. It works really well, and it's very flexible. Then I figured out something about 3-4 months ago, which is also a great way of creating websites. It's Elementor. Elementor, in combination with Ocean VP as a theme, works really well, very stable, very easy. And the beautiful thing about it is, I think for those who are not WordPress experts or who don't want to become WordPress experts, is you can, it's a what you see is what you get editor. So you can work on the front end, you can edit everything the way you want, move things around, and type text, and it will show you exactly how it will look on the website, which makes it really, really easy.
What people should look in the theme? Like, is there a certain specification that they have to be aware of, or just testing and they know?
That's a great idea of creating a standard for themes. No, there's basically, what I do is I test them up front. Like, how stable is it? What happens if I quickly want to integrate something? Will it break or will it continue working? I look into the code sometimes. Nowadays, I don't have the time anymore. But what I do for sure is I set up a demo site, and then I look at the front end. I review it with different tools that I use, and I review, okay, how did the developer of this theme implement basic SEO stuff? So, for example, how does the heading structure look like? How did they implement, sometimes if I see a theme is using multiple H1 headings on the front page, then I know these guys don't know what's SEO all about. Or if there is if they don't structure the site in a way where duplicate content is happening, then I know, okay, duplicate content, they haven't thought about it. And then it's a no-go for me. Then I won't use that theme at all. But Uncode is doing a good job about that area. So.
How about plugins? Is there any specific plugins that you must have it for each WordPress site? In
regards to a specific area of functionality, or do you mean generally?
Just general, like security, certain like comments or general stuff.
Okay, so what I do is yeah. So yeah, I mean, you mentioned a lot of good points. So for security, I would use WordFence. And make sure that the site is secured by that. For caching, I would use Supercache. That means you have a version of the website in HTML form, a static version, so the site is much faster. So WP Supercache is really good. For forms, I use Gravity Forms, which is really, really great. You can integrate, PayPal, and you can integrate email notifications inside your forms in very crazy ways. So very advanced stuff you can do with that. In regards to SEO, there's actually a good plugin. Well, obviously everyone is using Yoast, which is great, and I've been using it also. But the most important thing is how you use those plugins. So it's not just like, sometimes I have people who have a small business, and they say, well, my site is already SEO optimized. And I say, okay, what did you do? Well, I activated Yoast. That's not SEO. That's not SEO. You've done the first step, but it's about how you set it up and how you customize it. So Yoast is really good, but there's another one. It's called Rank Math SEO, and it has so many advanced customizations. You can almost define every SEO aspect of your website. I use that really intensively nowadays.
How often a WordPress site has to be updated in terms of versions? Like WordPress always launches these new versions.
Yeah. Depends on who's working on the site. So if you, for example, if I was you, and you don't want to deal with WordPress, then I would update it, let's say, once a month. And the way I would go about it is, and there's services, by the way, that does this for you, but what you do is you back up your site, you update everything, then you look at the front end, and if everything works, you say, thanks God, and then you continue with your day. If you are a WordPress developer, it's almost the same, but what I do on sites that I actively manage, and we have certain customers that we are the ones working on their site, we almost do it on a weekly basis because there's a lot of security issues happening right now. And if you want to make sure your site is secure, you should update and make sure that the site is always up to date.
How to
Plus,
speed? Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
And plus, you get a lot of new features every time you update. So there's always good stuff happening. Just recently, we had, for example, Elementor. 2 days ago, they brought a new version, massive new update, a lot of cool things that back then we had issues of getting it done. Now it's just a couple of clicks and it happens. So that's a big benefit.
Now, how to make sure that it doesn't break? Like you have to keep updating the plugins and or like use some of the recurring services to update it for you, or?
If you can outsource it, because it is a trouble. It's not like an app. It's not like an iPhone where you just press update and everything works. The WordPress is a living system, and you just need. And the problem is on the Apple systems, they check every app that's submitted to the App Store. In WordPress, there is something similar, but at the end of the day, everyone can write code the way they want. So what happens is if you have one, let's say, problematic plugin in your system, that one plugin can break your whole site. That is a problem. And that's why people who have WordPress sites need help of people like me, because in general, WordPress is a pretty easy system. Like, it's not very complicated. But the trouble is in the details. So once something goes wrong, then your whole site is offline, and that is a big problem. And that's where people like me can quickly fix it.
How to keep the website fast? Like how to optimize it for speed? Why it's slowing down? Is images have a big effect on that? Or?
I love your questions because I can tell you had trouble with WordPress and you know the exact spots. So performance has been a big issue in WordPress, but it has been solved. So number one is, as I said, you can cache a version of your website. There's multiple caching plugins like W3 Total Cache, like Super Cache, and many more. Important is that you use one of those plugins. You cache your website. Number two, you can use CDNs, where there's multiple versions of your website on many cloud servers around the world. So if, for example, if you're in Dubai, you access your website, there's actually
Sorry.
Bless you.
Thank you.
There's actually a website near Dubai that's serving my version of the website. If I'm in Germany, there is a server in Frankfurt, and the site will be loaded from there. So that's one thing. The other thing I can highly recommend
but how can you control that if you're hosting with like specific hosting?
Well, you can use Cloudflare, for example. They offer free CDN, and they also offer caching and security, features. So Cloudflare is really good. I highly recommend that you use a very
so what does it, for the average Joe, like what is cloud? What's the name of it?
Cloudflare.
Cloudflare. Is it like, regardless of what's your hosting, it's choosing where is your server located, or how it works?
It's basically putting a service between your domain and your servers.
Your hosting.
So your hosting, basically,
okay.
Yes. Yeah, so there's your hosting, you have your website there, there is your domain, and between those you put Cloudflare. What happens is every time someone accesses your domain, goes to Cloudflare, and Cloudflare says, okay, let's send them to this hosting, or let's send them to a copy of that hosting. So that will
in different country, different location.
All of,
faster.
I think they have 300, yes.
Okay. So Cloudflare is basically ensures that sends to the fastest version of the whatever location of the hosting.
That's just one aspect of it. It has so many more, but it will speed up your site a lot. And plus,
how much it costs per month?
It's free. It's free. You can upgrade. There's ways to upgrade it, but I use Cloudflare for all my sites, and it's free basically. Okay,
related question, best two hosting services for WordPress?
Well, so there's two things. Number one is, if you are an international customer, I think your audience is all international, I would go to a managed WordPress hosting service. For example, WP Hosting. That's what I've been using. If you are in Germany, I work very closely with a hosting provider called HostPress, which is focused on WordPress for enterprises. So if you're in Germany, go with HostPress. I think those are the two best providers.
WP hosting or WP engine?
WP engine and HostPress.
Okay.
Yeah.
I use WP engine. It's a bit expensive, but it's great. I never had a before. I used to use GoDaddy, and it was a nightmare. And WP engine really good, but it's a bit pricey. But they don't host the emails, so I host my emails with Bluehost. Where do you host your emails?
I use Exchange for that, so Microsoft Exchange in combination with Domain Factory.
Okay.
Maybe one more thing. If you're looking for a cheap alternative to WP Engine, I highly recommend Pressable. Pressable is just I hope they don't hear this, but it's basically a copy of WP Engine, but way cheaper. It's almost 60% cheaper, and they have great service too.
Good for the listener. I'm not interested to shift because of the hassle of the shifting, you know.
I'm not getting any affiliate earnings through that as well. So.
Okay, so now we installed the WordPress site, and from where to start in SEO? And before this question, before you answer this question, is it true SEO doesn't work like it used to be working before, and most experts says that now you just publish content and it doesn't matter the SEO, just transcribe the content, publish content as much as you can, and Google will rank you based on relevancy?
Well, Google ranks based on relevancy, that's true. But it depends on how you define SEO. So if you think SEO is some technical hack that we do and then we stuff some keywords, yes, those times are over. Thanks God. It doesn't work. It doesn't work at all this way. But if you see SEO as a general concept of creating the best search results online for any given term, then I can tell you, my friend, it's the best. And I've tried everything from Google ads to Bing marketing to Instagram, social media, YouTube ads, everything. I've tried email marketing, everything. There's no better marketing channel than getting organic clicks through SEO. And I see it with my customers. So having said that, I think SEO has advanced. So you need to see it in a very holistic way. And by the way, this is the main reason why people come to me.
So you have to be a monk to look at SEO, or how?
No. Well, you don't have to be a monk, but the thing is this: you need to. Here's the problem. I know why so many people struggle with SEO. I totally get it, and why people say it doesn't work. Because look, you need to be very strategic. You need to think, okay, who's my target audience? What would they search? Where do I want to go to? You need to be very technical. Okay, you need to set up XML sitemaps. You need to work with WordPress. It's so technical. You need, working with themes and all that stuff. At the same time, you need to be very disciplined. You need to create backlinks, and you need to go and create, other sites linking to you, and you need to outreach and all that stuff. Then you need all these massive tools. So you need to be very technical, and again, technical. And what's the worst part for many, you need to write good content.
I would like to add one more. I agree with all what you mentioned. The one more thing is most SEO experts are really expensive, and you never know if they're going to deliver or not, because it's a very long-term strategy. And that's basically the problem with SEO. Like, how would you know that they can? And no one will tell you that I can promise you this or this. So it doesn't make sense financially unless you have a huge, gigantic budget to test through it on SEO and test.
So here's the thing. Number one, I offer a money-back guarantee if I'm not able to increase your rankings within 30 days. Everything you spent, everything we've done, you don't need to pay me. That's number one. So people who work with me, they have this guarantee. Number two is, I would start very, very slow. I wouldn't say, here's a 12-month contract, $5,000 a month. Let's go, let's do SEO. That's a bad approach. And by the way, I just, yesterday I had a call with a new customer, and I said, would you go to a date, with a woman, and the first thing you say is, let's marry right now, let's get kids, let's build a house. You wouldn't do that, it would be the wrong approach. So what I do is this. I start with a keyword analysis. It's a cheap product, it costs $500. but I will go really deep with you, maybe on a one-on-one call or my staff, and we will generate 25, 50, or 100 keywords. And now here's the little secret. We won't go with the big keywords because everyone is going for the big keywords. What we do is we go for the long tail keywords. Long tail means keywords that maybe a lot of people search, but there's a low density of other people competing. Because at the end of the day, SEO, it's a fight, it's competition. There's only one number one spot, and everyone wants to get there. So we have to compete with others. And if there's not enough competition, there's a good chance we'll rank. So high search volume, low competition density, and with that, you get a keyword set of, let's say, 50 keywords. Now you'll be like, okay, nice. I like these keywords. Now what's next?
No, but question first, like
yeah?
You said, like let's say you sat with the website owner, business owner, entrepreneur, based on the product that they are selling, you agreed with him or her on a specific keywords, all right? And then you're gonna go do your magic on those keywords, which is gonna sell basically or bring more traffic close to the avatar of that business owner to sell their products.
Yeah.
Is this process has to continue to evolve and update in terms of keywords, or he gonna stay with these keywords forever?
It depends on what works. So here's the thing. If you brush your teeth, you won't go and say, you know what, let's brush our teeth for 50 minutes today and then just stop for 2 weeks. That doesn't make sense, right? So you have to brush your teeth every day. If you're a good guy, you will do it 3 times a day for at least 3 minutes. SEO is just the same. And you can stop after a month and check out if it really worked. But the best part is, or the important part is, you need to constantly optimize because, the reason is this, because the other guys are optimizing as well. They won't stop. So why should we stop? We have to optimize as well. And once we are better than them, that's where we get number one. And by the way, you mentioned one word which I find funny because a lot of people, there is no magic. There is no magic in SEO. There is just hard work,
discipline,
discipline, and optimizing, and knowing the strategies obviously, but optimizing your piece of content, your website, so it becomes more user-friendly, more valuable, more relevant, more modern, more responsive, better content, better keyword. Everything is just targeted to allow a better user experience. So you know what I say? My job is to make the web a better place because I'm not sitting here and hacking some websites or creating like there's not a button that the SEO button that I press. What I do is it's just optimizing content, websites for higher relevancy. That's it.
So it's the first step is researching the keywords. What do you use for that? If you have enjoyed today's episode, I would like to invite you to check out efficientpreneurclub.com. The Efficientpreneur Club is the right membership for you if you've been working to grow your business for a while now and things aren't happening as fast as you want. If you are tired of generic courses, secretive gurus and expensive mentors who charge $2,000 to $5,000 a month then fob you off onto sub-coaches or connect with you in group coaching calls, if you are already stressed out about your business model, sales, productivity, team and systems, if you are scrambling in the evenings and on the weekends and you never have time for yourself and your family, those problems are not going to fix themselves unless you fix them today. Why? Because your business profitability and performance are not going to change unless you do, and your relationships and health will continue to be affected. Building and scaling a business becomes so stressful over time, but it doesn't have to be that way. The Efficientpreneur Club is a private and affordable one-on-one business coaching club for business owners and entrepreneurs who want to build and scale their business profitability and performance with less time, effort and cost, and without risking their freedom. The Efficientpreneur Club will help you take your business to the next level with a private and affordable individual coaching with me personally. I tailor the program to your unique needs. I will help you clarify your direction, set a strategic action plan, and guide you step by step to build and scale your business efficiently.
The Efficientpreneur Club will also provide access to an extensive how-to video library, the most highly recommended tools, and a supportive community of like-minded business owners to help you along the way with feedback, encouragement, and advice. The Efficientpreneur Club is the perfect place to be if you want to maximize your profits, minimize your workload, and scale your freedom and efficiency. So check it out at efficientpreneurclub.com and say bye-bye to generic courses, secretive gurus, and expensive mentors.
Well, there's multiple use and multiple strategies. Again, I can give you some tools and I'll give you some tools, but it's how you select those keywords. So one tool that is very easy and I think it's good for starters is it's called Keyword Finder. So kwfinder.com. I think it allows you to use 5 keywords a day or so, but if you get the paid version, you can do more. That's a really good starting point to generate keywords. Now, you need to select those keywords. So one advice that I gave already, or the first strategy is, okay, let's go for those that have high volume and low low competition density. Then obviously, you need to research and see, okay, who is ranking for those keywords? What are they doing better? And then through that, you define your own strategy. And if you manage, now here's the kicker, if you manage to have 3 or 5 keywords that have 200, 300 searches every month, your business is stable and you don't need to do anything else. Because my situation right now, I still do Google Ads sometimes if I feel we need more contracts, but now I don't have any advertisement costs at all. My business runs solely through the traffic of those 4 or 5 keywords that have 100, 200 searches every month. And that's how people find me. And then they call me or send me an email, and then we get going.
But does it make sense to spend on SEO more than on spending on ads per month, like in terms of cost of agencies per month?
Here's the thing. If you think long-term, SEO is a way better strategy. Because here's the problem. Google Ads is a great tool, and I have many customers that we manage their Google Ads account. They make a lot of money. Like for every $1 they spend, they get around $4 back. But the problem is, the moment you stop advertising, everything is gone. You don't exist. Whereas in SEO, spend a year, $1,000 a month on SEO, you will benefit the next 5 years from it if you do it well. Plus, your brand will get stronger, you have a better website, your SSL certificate is working, your menu is more structured, your content is error-free, there is no grammar mistakes. You know, like, this is SEO. You improve your website. So it's not just for Google. You do it for your brand.
Okay, so you selected the keywords. Where do you put those keywords?
That's not how SEO works, but obviously, well, there is a couple of places you need to put
like
keywords.
meta tags, pages titles. How do you use those words?
So there's 200 ranking factors. That's what they say for the Google algorithm, and no one knows except Google on how they rank the websites. There was a time where it was easier. So when I started, all you had to do is you put your keywords at least in the H1 heading. You use, for those of you that are not very technical, they will understand later, but there's an H2, H3, H4 heading. You put your keyword in there. That's number 1, and you should still do that in a non-spammy way. Number 2, I highly suggest, if you haven't done that, go ahead and do it. Inside WordPress, you should spend at least, I would say, 15 minutes on every post that you create or every page, and just go, if you use Yoast, you go there and you optimize the default SEO title and meta description. Now, this is an art for itself. How do you place the keyword? What other keywords do you use? How do you formulate a whole sentence? Because here's one thing you need to know.
It's copywriting as well, not only SEO.
Exactly, exactly. You need to know how to convince. Yeah, that's an art by itself, right? How to sell, how to market, how to explain, how to describe, using variations of the same words. So you can tell I have a strong feeling for being able to communicate, elaborate, and English is my third language, by the way. So in German, we have much more ways to describe something. And Google loves it. The more you're able to describe the same thing in a non-spammy way, the more authority you have in that niche. And that's what Google loves. So meta description and SEO title is really, really important.
When you are using those, external services, lead pages, ClickFunnels, and you link it with a specific web, let's say if I have a specific page, my home page, built on WordPress and optimized, and tomorrow I just link another page from lead pages to the home page, and just I copy paste whatever the title and into the SEO part of lead pages or ClickFunnels. Does that affect the ranking immediately, or how it works?
The problem is that all these page builders, be it Instapage, Unbounce, lead pages, they are not SEO optimized as they should be. Now, they claim they are, but they aren't. So I've hardly seen that any of my landing pages ranks really well in Google if I created it with Instapage. Now, having said that, of course they can rank, and I don't know, if you have a lot of backlinks to your landing page, it might rank really well. But I have never seen that happen.
Okay.
And then the second thing is, why would an Insta page or a landing page get a lot of backlinks? That's not natural.
No, but if it's linked to the main domain, like example, the home page.
Yeah.
So let's say if you go to efficientpreneur.com, it's basically a lead pages page. It's not a the website is a WordPress, but it's linked from lead pages. So definitely there are so many backlinks to the main site page. It's not like just a funnel page. It's forwarded to the main site. So what usually happens in that? It's basically a page with a different link in lead pages, but it's forwarded to the home page of let's say my site. What happens in that process?
Yeah, this is very technical, but there's various ways how you can forward traffic from one place to the other. The right way to do it depends, again, on the situation, is a 301 redirection. So if you want to forward, let's say you have an old website, and you say, you know what, I have a new domain, I don't want to use this old website. So if you make a mistake, you would just put an iframe, or you would go into your hosting account, that's the worst, and just set up a redirect. You will lose all your ranking, and you will lose all your link juice, basically, that's what we call it, from Google. But if you set up a 301 redirection, you will tell Google, hi Google, welcome to this domain. Please go to this other domain, whatever it is, your landing page or whatever, because this is temporary or permanently closed.
But sorry to cut you off. Do you do that for, let's say, if I have in the old domain many posts? Do you do that for one by one to direct them to the right one?
Yes,
It's
100%.
called 301.
301 redirection. There's actually a plugin in WordPress. It's called SEO redirection, and it's made for this purpose because you will lose all your rankings, and you don't want to lose them. So, So, by the way, tomorrow we have a huge website of a customer that we are relaunching. They used to use Drupal. Now I convinced them, and now they use WordPress. It's a huge website. It's a $30,000 website that we built, custom. So they had about 1,500 old URLs. And the old URLs, they did rank well, but they were terrible. Terrible URL structure. So what we did is, we are now, tomorrow they're launching actually. So what we did is, we are doing manually. Every little page that we have, and we know has rankings, we set a redirection to a new page in their new WordPress. So we will keep all these rankings. Plus, the good side of it is, if you have 5, 6 different pieces of content in your old site, and you redirect them to one new URL in your new site, all those 4 or 5 link juices will be counted towards your new URL. So there's a good chance that you will actually get much higher in the ranking than you were before. That's why relaunching a website is so critical and so important.
Okay. How about off-page SEO? How it works now? How do you do it? Link, to get the links back into your site.
Right. So for people to understand this question is, there's 2 parts, on-page and off-page. On page is everything you do on the site. Off page is everything that happens externally. Now, the way how Google ranks your website is based on authority. So relevancy is what happens on the site. Authority is what happens outside of your site. So the more people link to your website, the more likely it is that Google says, interesting, Ahmed is an authority in this niche, so we should rank his content higher and better. How do you get those links? That's the challenge everyone has. It's like, how do you make money, right? Other people have money and you can get it, but you need to be convincing. You need to outreach them and you say, hey, look, I'll give you value and you give me money. Same thing with backlinks. You need to create content. So, for example, what I'm doing with you right now is part of off-page SEO. My hope is that you will put one link back to my websites, and that will boost my authority. Now, your people, if they watch this, they could leave a comment here and say, hey, that was great content. Here's a link to my website, and put it in the comment section of your website. Or they could go to a forum and talk about their website, and so on. There's so many ways. But I think the easiest way to get backlinks nowadays is to just enter your business.
Interviews or guest blogging or interviews or...
That's actually pretty tricky for most people. Like, I mean, it's pretty tricky to get invited on a podcast or an interview nowadays. I mean, it has become much easier, but not your average Joe, as you said, has those opportunities. But if you're an average Joe, I would say spend 1 hour every day at the morning, before breakfast or after, and go online and just make yourself heard. So go in forums, go in blogs, send people emails, get your link out every day. If you do that 30 days in a row, every day 1 hour, I guarantee you, and I've seen it with all my customers, your ranking will go like, and will go up. It's magic, and that's the magic, by the way. Getting your rankings up is about doing your on-page, cleaning the teeth, and then spending time routinely of getting the people to link back to you, and that's the whole magic.
When you check the ranking, you check it keyword by keyword to know that the ranking is up? Or how do you do that?
I have my own tools. So everyone who becomes a customer of mine, you get a daily report by email. That's the tool that we use for all customers. You have your top 25 or 50 or 100 keywords. You see exactly how you're ranking affected in the last 1 day, 7 days, and 30 days. And if you like, you can also see the chart. So you can see what is actually happening. So my goal, and you were right, a lot of people say, I do SEO, and all they do is nothing. So and because I give this guarantee to people, I need to show them, like, hey, look, your ranking was here, and now it's day 29, and now you're here. Can you please pay me? So this is why I use all these tools, and I make it very transparent. You can see exactly what's happening with your rankings every day.
Definitely, I will link back to you, and I link back to all the interviewees. The other question is, do I benefit from that when I link back to you?
No, I mean...
Is my site benefit from that?
To a certain... So here's the thing. If you create a page, and you call it the top SEO experts in the world, and you link to all the top SEO experts, you create a list of 100 people, and you put links to all of them, Google will count this as a very valuable source. So even if you don't have a lot of content there, just the fact that you have 100 links summarized, this makes it a very valuable resource. So if someone types in best SEO expert in the world, there's a good chance your piece of content will show up because you have so many links.
What's the best length of a blog post or a piece of content to rank the best way possible?
What do you mean?
Like, is it 500 words, 2,000 words? Doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter. I've seen pages with 200 words ranked #1. I've seen pages. I have pages. By the way, I do a lot of testing. So I read a lot, and I go to many events and seminars and workshops. But my day is basically testing ideas. That's what I love, and that's what I do. So I tested this with variations, 400 words, 1,000 words. And what happened? We used to have a blog post that had 1,000 words. We improved it and made it 2,500. The rankings dropped. Now, in that specific case, what happened is the ranking for our keyword dropped because the post was much more general now. But what happened is it started to rank for other keywords. So the traffic actually went up. So it might be a good strategy to go for more content. But you can't give a number and say 1,000 words is the best. If I had to give a number, I would actually say something between 800 to 1,200. That's a pretty good range for content. And if you look at the sites that rank #1 in Google, most of them, I'm not saying all of them, have a lot of content on them. So yes.
So generally, more content is better.
You could say so, but it's not a general rule. I wouldn't say like, if you have 800 words, please put 400 more. That's not the strategy.
How about transcriptions? Do you recommend it? What's the percentage that it can improve your ranking, or it doesn't matter?
Well, the problem is that, for example, right now, I'm speaking about a topic. I might jump around in different ways. I might not use very elaborate words. I might repeat myself. Whereas if I write a piece of content,
it's more organized.
I have time. It's more organized. I can structure it. So by definition, a transcription is more colluded. Maybe that's the word. Like it's more chaotic.
Out loud talk. Just
exactly.
Yeah.
It can work, and I would highly suggest. I know you do transcriptions, right?
I used to, and I stopped, and I'm planning to restart again.
I would say, don't put the transcription there, but have someone else take the content and maybe summarize it.
Write it in a no, but like the question, I know some experts do that. Like they have the transcription, and then they have another writer who looks at the transcription and try to generate a blog post out of it.
Perfect.
But the question is, adding the transcription will benefit that interview or blog post, or it will hurt it in terms of SEO?
I have to check the transcription. Those are, by the way, those are questions you can tell it's very individual. You can't say generally transcriptions are well. But if the transcription is done in a good way and you structure it, for example, just one little idea here. If you use the questions as a specific heading type, that might help. You structure your article. Or if you make the very important answers, you bold them. That might help. But if you just kick all the content and you just throw it out online, the question you need to ask yourself is this really valuable for the reader or not? If it is, then there's a good chance Google will think the same way. If it's not, then don't do it.
Okay. How about like if you are publishing video content, how Google will know that this is good? Because it's linked back to, let's say it's hosted in YouTube and you're putting it on your blog, or just text? Like we are not at that stage that Google can read audio or video.
No, Google can read audio and video for sure, but what makes you so here's the thing. There's various ways of doing SEO. So SEO by definition, and I'm putting this in for the transcription later, so you have the keyword, is search engine optimization. That's what SEO stands for. Now, it doesn't say Google search engine optimization. So if you do SEO for YouTube, that's a complete different thing. And by the way, YouTube is the second largest search engine on the world. So if you don't rank well in Google, you might want to try YouTube. And if you have a product that you sell, you might even want to SEO for Amazon. Why just SEO for Google? So YouTube and video is a big topic, and I try to focus on Google, but nowadays I can feel many people are asking for video SEO too.
So how Google can read the video? Like they can read inside the content of the video, or
yes,
how?
Yes, Google is listening to us right now. Not right now, but if you put this on YouTube, Google can make an automatic transcription of this video. So they know.
Oh. So it helps in SEO, even if you just put the video there.
For sure. And the number one reason, I'm not sure if Google will actually take this transcription of YouTube and then count it against the authority of the page. I don't think they are doing it to a very strong extent. But the reason I would put all the videos online and put it on the page is if someone is watching this on a page right now, on your website, there's a good chance that they will stick for 60 minutes, or I don't know how long this interview goes, but they will stick for all the interview here. Google will know if someone Googles something. Now, let's make this very specific, all right? I want to make sure everyone understands this. Let's imagine this article is online. 6 months, it's 2020 now. Someone is watching this video. They Googled how to SEO WordPress. They landed on your website because this article, this content is #1. They stay for 60 minutes on this website. Google will know, okay, this was a good source.
Yeah.
It's a good source.
Yeah.
No matter how you achieved it, because of the video, or because of the transcription, or because of some images, or infographic, or whatever it is. But Google knows how sticky your content was. Now imagine this. Someone Googles how to SEO, lands on your website, goes away after 11 seconds, goes back and checks out #2. Google will know, okay, that wasn't a good source. Let's de-rank them.
How to deal with websites with 2 languages? Like, is it separate, the website, like, you know, the SEO that you work, you design it for each page, or how do you deal with that?
So technically you can define, through HTML, there's a tag for it. You can define which language each page has. And inside Google Search Console, and by the way, if anyone is using, or has a website and wants to know what is going on in terms of SEO, the first thing you should do, well, basically it's 2 things. The first 2 things you should do is, #1, set up Google Analytics. You need to know and monitor your traffic. And #2, Google Search Console. And inside Google Search Console, you can define the language of your website.
What does Google Search Console do?
Google Search Console is the way how Google communicates with people who want to know how their website performs. So you can log into Google Search Console. You will need to verify that this is your website. And then you will be able to see how your website is doing in terms of traffic, organic traffic, in terms of impressions, in terms of rankings. It will give you all this information. Now, you need to work with this data. Many people have set it up and they think that's SEO again, just like Yoast. You need to constantly, every week at least, log in, check out what's going on. But it also has certain settings. And one of them is defining the language of your website. If you do that, it's really, really helpful because you can tell Google, hey, this website, beefficient.tv, is English. And it's focused on people in the United States. That itself will give a little boost to people who search your content in the United States. #2, I would suggest separating it, your content, through a subdomain. So the easiest way would be going de.ahmed.com or us.hamed.de. So you can separate it based on subdomains. So each subdomain has its own rankings, has its own content, and has its own backlink structure.
But it doesn't. Let's say if I have now for my membership access is membership.my website, it doesn't affect the traffic in general. Like when you have a subdomains coming from the main domain, or it will add to the juice of the main domain.
No, Google separates based on subdomains. So if you have membership.website, then it's a different link structure and authority than if you have www.yourwebsite.
Okay. How do you? We talked about analytics, like in terms of tracking. I was planning to use like Tag Manager with Google Analytics in order to know where the links are going and the conversions. What do you think about it in general, and do you recommend any other better tool, or you just fine to use both Analytics and Tag Manager?
So those two tools are different set of tools. So what Google Tag Manager does is it allows you to easily implement new tools and new snippets into your website. What Analytics does is you can use Google Tag Manager to implement analytics on your website, but then you would actually go to Google Analytics and check out how long people stayed on your website, how high the bounce rate is, which means how fast they run away from your website because it's not converting well and it's not convincing. and many other things. How many people use their mobile, what keywords they have used to enter your website, how they run through your website, everything. Google Analytics is a massive, massive tool, and it took me almost 3 years to figure out how it works. But once you know it, I couldn't live without it nowadays.
So do you use with it Tag Manager, or you just use it alone?
I use it alone.
Okay.
I use it alone. I should use it more often because, well, I try not to use too many tools on my client's website. I just give my clients the best tool that actually serves their purpose. It doesn't help. Many people just, okay, put this, put that, put that. That's not my, I know many tools, and you can tell I play around with a lot of them, but it's on my projects. But if I do it on clients, I just pick the most important ones that serve the purpose.
And you can track conversion with only analytics without Tag Manager, like any conversion for sell or for, you
can and you should, and that's the #1 reason you have to use analytics. You don't need to just track your, so with Google Analytics, you can track conversions and events, basically goals. So maybe in your case, it's how many people subscribe to your email newsletter. Maybe in my case, it's how many people give me a call. I can track that too. It's maybe for an online shop, it's how many people come through the homepage, or even better, you could say how many people have used Facebook, landed on the homepage, put a product in their checkout, and then actually made a payment. And at every step, you can see how many people stopped going in the next step. So, for example, at a client's project, we realized at the stage where they put it in a checkout, but that they don't finalize the payment. So a lot of people put the product is great, price is great, everything is great, but there's a problem, or we realized there was a problem at the checkout. We did some optimization, small, little details that we changed, and that itself increased conversion by 40%. And that's why you need analytics for.
So you get involved with funnels and tracking, not only SEO.
I shouldn't have mentioned it, but yes, if someone gets access to me and my agency and realizes like what we are capable of, then obviously they won't say, oh, no, we won't do that with you. Then they will say, hey, let's take the next step. We do, just to give you a rerun, so we do email marketing, we do Google Ads, we do a lot of funnel and payment processing, so Stripe, PayPal integration, all that stuff, membership sites, content creation, I do online PR. But for the external world, if someone asks me, hey, what do you offer? All I say is SEO.
Okay. In terms of email marketing, you get involved in the copy as well? You write copy?
I have a copywriter who does that.
Okay. How long it takes to rank a new post on Google? To the first top 3 results, let's say.
Well, it really comes down to how many other pages are ranking, and you can see that if you type in something in Google, it will show you. So, for example, one of my clients, and by the way, HostPress is one of our clients, the one that I recommended before, maybe as a full disclaimer here. And what we've done for them is we optimized the word WordPress hosting. Okay? There's 320 million search results for that term. And if you Google WordPress hosting in Germany, they are ranking #1 now.
This is like annoying me, keep jumping, so I would like to introduce her to you.
Oh, wonderful.
Lucy.
What's her name?
Lucy.
Lucy, yes, I remember. I saw that. Yeah, nice.
Okay. What's the best strategy that worked with you besides SEO to convert more clients online?
Authenticity. Being yourself. Just don't care too much about what your potential clients might think. Just be honest, straightforward. People love honesty. There's so much, sorry, I don't know if I can cuss here, but there's so much bullshitting around.
Correct.
So many
Especially
people.
in this space, in the online space.
I think in every space, but in the online space, because it's like you don't show your face, you can just get a payment and run away. People, like everyone I ask them, hey, why are you working with me? All of them, almost all of them say, I like your
because I'm working
style.
with you.
Exactly, that's it. So I'm trying to move away, but it doesn't work, and I enjoy it. I enjoy working with people who, and I think one thing that really helped me, besides SEO, is so you can tell I have a scanner personality. I enjoy doing many things. I like to jump around. I like to explore ideas. And at one point, I had to realize, okay, I can still do that, but at one point, or at least in one area, I need to focus. And that was, for example, my business was saying, okay, I do SEO.
80-20%, yeah.
It's a short name, it's SEO, everyone knows it, it's easy to understand, you can Google it up, and it's easier. So I focus, and now even my company, SEO Effect, you can tell it's very, very focused, not just on SEO, but on effective SEO. That's why we're called SEO Effect.de. So authenticity, focusing, those are the two things that really changed my whole business.
How's your day like from the day you wake up until you sleep? What do you do? What's your, structure of the day, habits, hobbies?
So, this also took me a lot of time to figure out. But what I do is, so my problem is I don't like every day to look like the same. So maybe in your case it's different. You need your routine. In my case, I couldn't deal with it. So what I did is, number one is I separated. And by the way, this is an idea that you can take from the Big Bang Theory, from Sheldon, who has this like, Wednesday is my Thai day, and then Friday is my sushi day, and so on. So what I did is, every day is a very specific focus day. So Wednesday, for example, is day where I do my content marketing and outbound, I have calls, I do all these stuff. Tuesday and Thursday, I have agency. I have 6 people sitting here, and we only work on Thursday and Tuesday as a team, and then everyone separates, they work from home. So my Monday and my Friday is very, very flexible in terms of focusing. That was a huge game changer. So every day, one specific type of work. Number two?
Is your staff, just before number 2, is all your staff offline, or you, because I know that you used to outsource a lot before.
I used to, but now I don't. Like, I would say 70% of my staff is in local. Is in Hamburg, and then I have a couple of iOS
very
developers.
important. Why? Because of the control?
I need the human interaction, and I couldn't create, or let's say it this way, I wasn't so structured that I could just, and maybe there's other people who can do it, but I couldn't, so that I could just say, hey, look, this is the plan for the next 6 months, go ahead and do it, and then come back to me, or when you have products coming. I need to be the person who talks to you, looks at the screen, gives you some ideas, you show me stuff. I need this close interaction. That's why for example, with developers, I can still work with remote, that works. But what I do is, I give them a screen design, and I say, this is what I need, here's the concept, now finish it, and come back to me. Exactly. But this dynamic working, unless it's a screen sharing session, like what we did. I don't know if we did it this way, but if the best way to work with a developer is you go into a Zoom meeting, you are working one-on-one together as if you're sitting in an office, and you work together on the site. That's what works for me. Everything else is just a nightmare. I want to show one more thing to your audience, which helped me also a lot, is basically this, this thing. So what it does is,
organizer.
What I do every day now is I put up my goal every day. I write down my goal. I write down the targets that I have for that day, and only 3 of them, not more. And it's very important. Those 3 tasks need to be things that drive me closer to my goal every day.
To your vision. Yeah.
To my vision, exactly. It could be financially. For example, one of the things that I enjoy, or it's called a qualitative goal, was I wanted to wake up with full energy every day. That was my goal. Because there was a time I woke up and by the way, I highly suggest not using, let me close the window for a second. I highly suggest not putting financial goals. Okay? It doesn't help. I want to make $1 million in the next 3 months. I want to make $1 million in the next 7 months. Okay, go ahead and do it. But you need to have the energy to go there and get there. Right? So one of the things was for me is like, what do I need to do so I wake up really, really energetic and I have a great day? And this helped me to see and track my process. So the other thing is, every morning I write down what I'm grateful for. This is stuff you hear from Tony Robbins and
it's
all
simple,
these
but it drives your energy. Yeah.
But the problem is not no one, but many
most
people
don't do it. Do you do the small task or the most important task, the first thing?
I give myself flexibility, because that was also an issue. Like, I don't want to wake up in the morning and say, oh no, I got to do this, this thing that I hate. What I do is, if I feel for it, I'll do it. And then another learning I had was, everything we do here is just business. This is something that I learned from the founder of Uber, okay? You can run a multi-billion-dollar business, but at the end of the day, it's just business. It's just money. You will die one day. It doesn't matter. Everything with an SEO expert, at the end of the day, no one cares about it if I die. So it's just business, and that puts the pressure away. So you do stuff that you love, and I guarantee you, I've seen it all over the place. Every time you do stuff that you love, it's like you infect other people, and they want to work with you, and that makes you more money. That's the best marketing strategy. Be the top version of yourself.
Which mentors helped you the most?
Which mentors? I learned a lot from my family. So my whole family is very, very business oriented. My brother, my father, my mother even. I've learned a lot just from my family. But I think from the outside world, I like Gary Vaynerchuk a lot. I think I've heard we have the same style or energy. I like Grant Cardone in terms of selling. He gives you this angry type of business if you're too soft. I like Pat Flynn back then in the beginning days. That was really good. I'm not following it a lot nowadays. And I think there's many people that. And by the way, I like Tony Robbins in terms of personal development. And I think you can learn from everyone. You can really. I learned a lot of things from you when we were working together.
Thank you.
No, really, everyone that you work with, there is a chance, opportunity. And by the way, one of the things that we have a mantra here, which says stuff like, it's German, but it says stuff like, we are successful if our customers are successful. Or, at the end of the day, only results count. Or, we don't say no to big decisions. And the last thing is, we take time to learn things. And you can learn at every opportunity.
What makes you fulfilled?
I think what makes me fulfilled is when I feel that I'm using my life and my potential in the best possible way. And I used to think that this was me being needy for attention of other people until I realized that the moment someone sends you a message, and this is weird because it's very hard until it happens, but once it happens, it's so fulfilling. If people come to you and say, look, this one thing that you mentioned back then changed my life. You don't make any money out of it. Maybe you won't even see that person. Maybe it's just someone on an email telling you this. But this is so because you feel like, nice. I did something that someone else benefited and did something good with it. So that's really, really making me happy. Plus, every time I send out an invoice and the money comes to my bank account, that makes me happy too.
Last question, how people can find you?
I think all you have to do is just Google me. The easiest way is to send me an email. So my name is Hamed. You can send me an email at hamed@hamed.de. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I started to use Instagram. And if you just go on hamed.de, you will find me. And maybe if you Google SEO expert in Hamburg, you should find me as well.
Thank you so much, Hamed. Really appreciate your time. I think it's maybe the best ever SEO WordPress interview I have ever done because it's so organized. We started from the beginning with the details of from the start with WordPress, and we shifted into step-by-step SEO and what's working now. Really, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks everyone, and see you soon with another expert. Be efficient and stay efficient, and take care.
Thanks for watching or listening. It means the world to me if you would leave an honest review of the show on iTunes or any other podcast platform that you are listening through. And big thanks to all the people who have already reviewed the show.
Discover how to build and scale your business profitability and performance with less time, effort, and cost. Check out efficientpreneur.com.